What's up, gang? I totally completed the Boost Auto look and I love it. What I did is I picked up a set of these Ion Series door handles from Boost Auto. What they offer is a perfect paint match program. So I got the G1 Shadow Black for my 2017 Ford F150, but you can get any color you want. They've got different options. If you didn't notice, mine is not only sequential, but it's also switchback, which means the amber go back and forth, all those things. I'm gonna go do the open box. I'm gonna show you the quality. We'll go closely and show you all the details of the quality, how well the paint is done, and then we'll go step by step of the install process. And on this particular install, I've got some tips you're not gonna wanna miss. So stay tuned. Let's get started now. All right, so do me a favor. You see all these little stickers I have, or magnets I should say, Boost Auto? None of them have my truck on it. Do me a favor, leave a comment down below telling Boost Auto to get me one of these cards that says Boost Auto, a picture of my truck on it. Please, it's driving me crazy. Anyway, let's get into it. Here are the lights, the boxes. Look how beautiful packed they are. You gotta love it. Made in Northern Illinois, USA made. I believe this is the rear set. Let's look at them real quick. Look at that, look at that. So they have tons of different features out there. It's what you want to do as far as a startup, a sequence light, what have you. Obviously packed awesome. Here's all the wiring. That's the rear. And here's the front. Look at those beauties. Look at that, man, oh man. Little Boost logo on there. You hardly see it, but it's beautiful. And then here's all the wiring. Everything you need to get started. Here's the brand of the system. This tells everything. We'll hook that up to the fuse box. But anyway, gang, first I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove the negative from the battery. Start with the front driver's side. Let's go. All right, so first things first. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know this is my old man's truck. These are his gloves. I still keep them in it. So I'm going to empty this out and we'll get it removed. And cover it, just pull it off. Get in here. All right, that's what the clips look like. So it'll give us access to these 7mm right here to take off, and we'll have some down there. Let me grab my 7mm. Forgot there's one more cover down here. You have to pull off. There you go. And then there's two 7mm there. All right, to recap, you got one 7mm here. You have two 7mm here. Two 7mm there, and then two down below. At this point now, what I want to do is from the outside door panel, just pull on it. Just like so. Break it loose. Then we'll, I got this aftermarket thing. Then we're just going to lift it up. Just like so. Like so. This is the hardest part. Right here's the tab that you're pulling down on. Okay. On these here. So on this, you're basically pushing this in, pull it out. On this one here, very similar. You're grabbing this part here and pulling it out. Move this because we're gonna have to get access to the door itself. Get this out of the way. Next thing we're gonna do is take the 7mm again, get these out of your way. And we got 4 7mm, get the speaker out of here. Gonna go ahead and unplug it right there. right, let's move the back door. All right, so on this door here, we've got 6. We're gonna pull this back, pull that back. Should be 2, 4, then 2 down below. So let's get that trim tool out and remove this handle. So just a trick I discovered, under here there's a little bit of a gap. You get in that gap and you pull it back like that. That's the easiest way to get it off. Down here, that's a little bit tougher. There we go. All right, so we'll take these 2 off, those 2 off, and the 2 down below. Save these to use later. Save these to use later. Kind of the same process. Pull from the outside. Hang on, loosen this up. And then we'll lift up. Same process on the inside here. Unhook your wires, or your harnesses, I should say. That just pulls straight out. This one kind of like the front. And lift out. Now we want to do the same thing. We're going to take this off, and then we got 4 bolts here, 4 7mm. We're going to remove that back speaker. I said 4, there's actually only 3. All right, let's go back to the front. If you have this harness on your ears, unplug it, because this is going to attach to your handle, which you're going to remove. All right, so that actually pulls out. I pulled this part out. It was latched in there. We're going to push it back in there. But that was a pain in the butt. All right, so next thing is we're going to remove this little rubber seal on the side here. There you go. All right, and that'll give us access to this 10mm. Don't drop it down your door, it'll be a pain in the butt. All right, now this is probably the trickiest bolt reduction, if you can, or bolt removal. Up here are 2 10mm on the back of the door. I'm not sure if you can see them up there or not. We're gonna try to get those removed. All right, now we're going to start going to the front side, and there's just a couple things on there we have to pull off. I'm going to try to come from the back side here. Let's see. Pull that front out, and then work your way this way. Well, it's almost like I got adhesive or something stuck on mine. Yeah, see it? Break it away. All right, then unlatch this little white bracket here. Okay, so now I want to let go. There we go. All right, then keep that over there because you don't want to lose that. All right, then you have this piece here, which basically I'm going to get pliers to ply this together. So I left my needle nose pliers at the house, so we're going to use this instead. All right, this will just come back this way, and it should slide down, and the handle is off. All right, let's go to the back. I want to show you something. So here's the 2 compared to them, which, by the way, to make sure you have the right one, make sure the Boost Auto logo you barely see, make sure it's facing up. But here's the Boost Auto, of course, and here's the difference if you want to look at them. They did right on the inside, which one it is. So basically, we're just going to reverse everything we did. All right, first things first, let's reinstall the cable. All right, and then push that out of the way. All right, now you want this to get connected. All right, it's in. Now, when you install this, put the back in first, and then the front goes in next, just like so. And that, my friends, already looks better. All right, now we're gonna put the screws back in it. Probably gonna be just as fun to put them in as it was to take them out. These were probably the hardest in the whole process. Once you have those tightens, don't forget to reinstall this harness here, which you'll hear latch. All right, now we're back here with that tail mini where we took out earlier. All right, then put the cap back on. All right, on the back door, pretty much the same program. We're gonna go through and remove those 10 millimeters that are up here. All right, just one more on top. FYI, the top on the back sucks to get to. Finally done. That was a pain in the butt. Let's move to the side. Let's peel this cap off. All right, let's get that tail millimeter out of there. All right, just like the front, start pulling this side here off. All right, there you go. This one's stuck too, just like the other one, with a little bit of, I don't know, the sticky stuff. We're gonna pull this out. Let's be easy with it. There we go. All right, so we'll take this, tuck it in here, pull back, push that in, make sure it latches. All right, we're gonna take this, push that down in here, get to it in the same process. We're gonna start with this end here, push it forward. All right. And then that leaves you with just put the 10 millimeter back in. All right, so now we need to get access to the BCM. I went and just pulled all these panels up, down through here, and that up. This has 2 push pins in. One's here, one's right there, still left it in there. And basically what you gotta do is you get this, just push it in and pull it straight out. Just like so. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I've got this control module from Boost Auto and then the 4-pin connector. Okay, we're gonna tap into the BCM. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and, all right, so this is probably the trickiest part of the whole install. Boost Auto supplied us with these, what they call T-taps. You bend them like this around your wire. We're going to put them on pins 38 and 39 of the smaller. I just took a shot with my iPhone. Hopefully it'll come out kind of smooth. This part I would definitely highly recommend on the Boost Auto's video because it's super hard for me to get around here, get a good angle on it with me just by myself. But what I'm going to do is take my pliers, put these on 38 and 39, and then I'll catch back up. So without a doubt, the toughest part of the project so far, but I was able to get that tap in there. I just hope it was far enough back. That's the tricky part, is you got to get that wire so far up there so it still slides down in the harness. But I got to get the one right next to it, the yellow, I think a brown wire, number 38. That's next. All right, so what I want to do is take the 4-pin connector. Looks like this. And we're going to plug it in here. And then you kind of want to decide where you're going to leave this thing at, and then we're going to crimp wires to those we just cut into. Red wire with the blue tracer. And what you want to do is think we're going to keep this at, and then give you enough room when you cut the wire to plug into the other. And then we're going to add a connector to it. So I'm going to give myself a Okay, we'll do the same thing to the red wire with like the green tracer on it. All right, so the red wire with the blue tracer, this here, that's going to go into the 39, which we cut back first. And now, hopefully, this is where I was worried about going back far enough. We're about to find out how well. Okay, and so the red wire with the green tracer, you do the same thing with the, which would have been the yellow wire. Get it both plugged in. Now I'm going to try to slide it down in there. I don't think I can get that on camera. All right, if you could see that, hopefully that recorded. I got just enough space to get that to latch. All right, so it's working on the same harness, if you will. I'm grabbing the orange one. The two we just installed were left and right turn signals. This is going to be the daytime running lights. And we're going to put this in the third to the bottom of this one here, which I just broke into. For mine, it's a gray wire. So if I turn it around here, it's a gray one, and I just spliced it right there on top. So we're going to run the orange wire there, and then the other one we're going to run power to, but we got to put a fuse on it first. All right, so back to this boost auto box. We'll clean all these wires up. We're going to go ahead and plug this one in, which is the red and black. All right, now with the red and black connected, the two prong, we're going to cut this back. I'm going to connect the fuse to it, and then we'll put all together. Now we need to latch those back up. I'm going to clean up the wires and put them back in place. All right, I'm not going to lie, that was part of the project I did not want to mess with at all. What we're going to do now is grab the two long wires that go to the driver's side, front and rear. And if you look at the connector here, sure will come out in camera very well, but the back side here where you'll see left LH front, LH rear, RH front, RH rear. So these two we're going to connect into. Basically take these and just plug them right into that bad boy there, maybe. And we're going to tag one for LF front, just so I know which one's which when I pass them through. But basically, I'm just going to take them. Here's my label for the LF front, and then I'm going to hook up both the driver sides, and then I'm going to hook them onto my, I got a little coat hanger here, and I'm going to run through the dash underneath the other side, and I'm going to meet you over there. All right, let's see if I can find it. Look at that. Just a tip, make sure you leave enough on the passenger side over there so you can put your boost auto controller in a good spot so it's not tucking a bunch of wire in the way and so on. You'll have a zip tie right here. Cut it off, pull this rubber back. Here you gotta push this in like that and that. And there's two on the bottom as well. All right, so there's actually two on the top, one on the bottom center. And then you get that, you just kind of want to pull it out back and forth. And then here you go. All right, so it's off. So what I had to do is basically turn this sideways to get the screw underneath here. So that's off. Now we need to unhook the bottom of it. So basically I just squeeze that and pulled on it. You're still gonna have like a little thing there sticking out. That's here. And we're gonna take it and we're gonna run this through here, and it's gonna come out to this hole right up here. All right, so now we're going to just basically say I got that wire is passing through it. We're gonna do one at a time and just get them all through there. This is how we're gonna hide the wires. So remember I told you be friends with the curtain hanger. We're gonna take this, try to straighten the boot out a little bit, and then run a wire this up to it so I can pull the boot all the way down through here. We're gonna take these wires that we just fished through. All right, so this feels good. So I have the wire I need inside the door. So what I'm gonna do now is pretty much just put everything back. Go ahead and mount this door jamb back. And I lift this back so you can see, but see how these wires are just tucked between that? And then you slide it in. We'll put the cap over the top of it, but that's how you do the front, both driver side and passenger side. And then here you see the wires coming out. I'm just gonna run it down through this grommet and into the door. All right, so here we are with this. So we're going through this way. We're going to pull them through here. All right, so let me show you. Ran all those through here again, down through here, fed it through here. Here's the wires. I'm going to tuck it down this hole and along with the factory wire harness there, you see. All right, really we're just going to take this back up here the way it was. All right, so we're just gonna put the tips, strip these off. I'll do that at all three, and then throw a little heat on it to get the heat shrink down. You're in the passenger rear door, and I just want to give you an update on things. So if you can see, I got wire ran across here, zip tied it to all the factory wires. It's coming through here and up through this, and right here it is. And basically, I fed it along the front. So I'll tighten this up a little bit with some zip ties, clean it up and stuff. But so gang, here's really the big deal is. There's a track on the inside, window track. So basically you're gonna wanna run the wires back here and around. That way it doesn't get the window track, and then up to, where's it at, right? See that? That's the connector we're trying to go to that goes to the handle. And so once I get the wire back beyond this channel, I'm gonna put this on it and we'll connect it to that, and this door's gonna be done. All right, so I've passed it around the window track, and I just wanna show you something I'm doing real quick. Because I found this was the easiest, just to give you a heads up. So if you take these clips they provided, go ahead and wherever you're gonna, put your wire in there, all right, and then it locks down by pushing down hard onto it, just like so. And what I wanna do is I'm gonna peel this off, obviously clean the area, and then this can slide back and forth. I'll be able to pry it wherever I want. I'm not worried about trying to clamp this inside the door. So I applied it right there, if you could see. And then our wire is hanging down right here. All right, let me show you how I ran that. So it's down through here. I get it crossed around this traction bar back here, and then it's up here, plugged into the handle. All right, like I said, I was gonna have some tips for you. So first off, when you're up underneath your dash, Boost provides these things here, which is, it's basically a T-clamp, but you take the other piece, go in here. And guys, honestly, I'm not a big fan of these. If you look closely, it's just got one tooth that bites into it. And so if it moves at all, it could slide over on top of the plastic, which loses your good connection. And honestly, up underneath that dash, it's super hard to kind of clamp these down. And then you're putting something on here. And anyway, what I recommend is on these connectors, it's got, let's see if you can see, 2 prongs on that side, 2 ways to connect the wire, and on the back side, 2 ways to connect the wire. So just as an example, here's a wire. Let's pretend that's up underneath your dash. So you're basically just taking this thing here, and if you're stretching a little bit, it's a lot easier to kind of come up around here and then just clamp it down like that. Now, these, for example, and I just happen to grab one that's already locked. There you go. You put these in here, and again, you're on one little prong, and then you're hoping not only, you're up there kind of fighting it, it's kind of hard to push down, and then honestly, once it's down, it's hard to unlock these things too. So during my install process, I had a little bit of a problem with these connectors. What I found is one light would work, next one wouldn't work, and what was happening is I just bumped the connector, and like I said, this one little thing here slides over, and you're in plastic. I used these one time, and I'll drop a link down below for them. And it's got 2 prongs in it, and I think helps secure that, and it just gives it real tight onto the wire. That would be one of my biggest tips. The other thing is in the process if the process installing the front doors, where you're running, you got 3 wires you're running through here. I found that is probably one of the most difficult. I would say underneath the dash is the most difficult, but in particular, the driver's side gave me trouble. For whatever reason, the wires kept getting bound up, and I was worried about you know, cutting them or tearing them or whatever. And so on the passenger side, I had no problem at all. So it could be just a difference of the year. Every truck's a little bit different, even from the manufacturer. But I could not find any way at all to get those wires through there. So I took a Dremel and I just Dremeled it out, not a lot, and it just slid right in. So, you know, just be patient with it, and that's a pretty simple process. But, you know, honestly, you know, aluminum truck, you can touch it up with paint anyway, and once the grommet goes over, you don't even see it. You're not gonna take that much off it. So that'd be the other tip I got. Last tip would be just take your time. You know, you run a lot of wire, and just don't snag them. So just take your time, and you do it right the first time. Use these connectors, and I don't think you're gonna have to do it more than once. Anyway, but it's well worth the install process. I love the lights. It definitely grabs attention when you're driving down the road. If somebody doesn't see me turn to left or right in this truck with all the lights I got on it, that is their fault. So, but anyway, hopefully this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can drop a comment down below. You can hit me up on social media at F150_boss. I'm out there on Instagram and TikTok. But gang, I want you guys to really enjoy your build and do, you know, everything you're doing to it. And if I can help you on this process, don't hesitate to reach out. I will also tell you, I've got videos out there for the Boost Auto tow mirrors I've got, which is part of the, you know, part of the look, if you will. Not only the tow mirrors, but I've got the Boost Auto M2 steps, which, you know, it just kind of completes the whole look, and clicks with the startup and all that stuff. So what I'd recommend is, you know, if you're starting one thing at a time like I did, I started with the tow mirrors here. You know, stick with Boost, and I think you're gonna like the outcome. This tow mirror quality is outstanding. What I eventually did is, this was all plastic like this. I ended up ordering a paintable, I think they call it skull cap, but anyway, I got a video out there for that as well, where I took the cap off, didn't break anything, put the paint in, went on. Loved how that looked. The steps, I got an install video on those, super easy install. And honestly, I even did an install video where I changed out the mats just because I wanted my own custom mats on them. But big thanks to Boost Auto. Do me a favor, leave a comment down below, tag Boost Auto on it, and tell them I need one of those business cards with a picture of my truck on it. That would make my day. But anyway, gang, I hope my video served you justice. I hope it was helpful. If so, hit the like button. If you have any desire to watch any other truck videos like this, subscribe. Y'all have an awesome day, and thank you.